Hello, everybody. Welcome to Weekly Challenge number 151. This is the first one after the first challenge after the end of me doing challenges. There's a better way to say that is not happening right now. At 150, I said that I'm not going to do any more challenges personally. Well, maybe I'll do some, we'll see. But in general, you shouldn't expect it. So today, I'm not doing it. So I hope you didn't expect it. We're just listening. So I'm still going to be doing the challenges, but it will be listening sessions for submissions from people in the community. So if you want to be a challenger, a weekly challenger, your name will become green in the Discord. If you're in the Discord and you care about colors, that might be cool. And then you can learn about the next, the Midwest vibes. You can learn about the next challenge in the Discord under challenge info tomorrow. Tomorrow TM will be posted there. So anyway, today is From the Deep, a sea monster theme, an orchestral sea monster theme, no less. Sounds like it'd be fun to do, but I hope all of them would be fun to do. That's kind of the idea. So the fact that it's fun to do doesn't mean that I'm going to do it personally. But some people did. Not many, actually, today. I think we have 5, which is wonderful. Of course, just means short stream. But I'll talk to you guys. And the submissions are now 2 minutes long, if you want, not just 90 seconds. So, it's good. Let me just say hello to people. Hello, Sheesh, Newt, Leeway, Akel, Colonialist, Baby, Fabian R, Fabian C, as you can see behind me, these are moving boxes. Not a new permanent addition to my so-called set, but gets a bit crowded here in the studio. But I'm very happy to be with you guys. Orchestral's tough, so I'm not surprised it's only 5. When I was younger, I was probably 19, maybe. Through certain circumstances, I ended up with sort of a musical mentor for a bit of time. And this guy worked in TV, film world doing composition. And he's the one that actually got me into all sorts of stuff that I use today. The monitors I'm still using, the keyboard that's actually just beside me, all the plugins I was using, the DAW I was using at the time, everything came from this guy's suggestion. And he did all genres, well, maybe not all genres, but many genres. And we were at dinner one time or something, I can't remember. And we got on talking about orchestral stuff, producing orchestral stuff. Now, granted, this was, what was this? 15 years ago? 17 years ago? Wow. Yeah. And I was basically saying, I really love orchestral music, but I don't really do it. It's not really for me. I'm not going to make it, whatever. And he asked me, are you scared of it? And I said, yeah, actually I am. And that was an interesting revelation for me at the time, because it had been sort of almost unknown to me that even though I loved orchestral music and wanted to do it, I was actually intimidated by it, because there's just so much, and all the instruments are monophonic pretty much. And I came from playing guitar and piano, so I'm like, where are my block chords at? And you just can't think that way. And I was always, especially when I was younger, I was always someone that wanted to do it right, I guess I'm still that way, but now I'm much more free, I guess, in what that means or how I get there. But at the time I wanted to, if I was going to do orchestral stuff, I wanted to read all the orchestration books, the harmony books, make sure I really have it, and then do it the proper way. But anyway, the point was that from the conversation, I realized, I was like avoiding doing this style that I actually really liked and wished that I could do for fear of failure, basically. My fear was that I would try and it would be so shitty that I would think, okay, I guess it's not for me. But anyway, after that, I did start trying. And I just sort of, I didn't really read many books. I just listened intently to what happens in a lot of the orchestral music that I loved and sort of made theories or whatever about what's happening and then tried it. And I'm by no means an amazing orchestral composer now, but I can do it to some degree. And I love doing it, even though I'm not going to do it today. But some people did, and I'm very curious to hear what they did. Yeah. For doing a small chamber ensemble, not a big orchestral one. Yeah, of course. It's no problem. We like small chamber ensembles. You hate it when it comes to the automation. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is that yes, in the past, prior to DAWs and all of the fancy tools we have now, there is this, you're going to write for orchestral music. Okay, so you're at the piano. What you lose is you don't get to hear with total clarity what all of the instruments sound like together, both because you only have this timbre of the piano and you can't play all the parts at once. You have to play some kind of reduction or play certain parts against a bass line or, whatever composers were doing. But when you're done, let's say in the writing, there is no automation and figuring out of timbres and how to get the articulations to like blend smoothly and stuff. You just write the thing and put the notes on the page, and then you give it to the players, and then it just sounds like it's supposed to sound. Or if it doesn't, you make some adjustments to the page. Of course, people still do this, but even before they do this, a lot of people are doing mock-ups in the DAW. And yeah, you gain the ability to hear a rendering of what it would be like, and sometimes like a really, really good rendering if you know what you're doing. Like some people's orchestral mock-ups are just crazy, like indiscernible, basically. But there's a whole nother set of skills now that needs to be dealt with, to do with automation, to do with articulation changes and key switches and volume automation and reverb blending and like so many things to get it to sound that way. Yeah. Preferred chamber ensembles anyway. Something more powerful about it to me. I did my submission on MuseScore. Nice. All right, so yeah, let's get into it. So we have 5 submissions, and we'll just go in order that they appear on my screen. Oh, I guess I'll read the prompt first so that you know what these people are actually working with. So the prompt was, shrouded in mystery for eons, the beast known as Black Wake was thought to be nothing more than a myth, a children's tale whispered to frighten soldiers and stir the imaginations of the young. Excuse me. But now, as we stand upon the bow of this great ship, our eyes fixed on the black water ahead. I guess I used black twice in a row there. Our eyes fixed on the black water ahead, something begins to disturb the surface. The sea swells unnaturally. A vast shape shifts in the depths. Then, in a violent surge of foam and moonlit spray, the monster rises, its immense form breaking through the waves, ancient and terrible, as if the ocean itself has come alive. So that was the prompt, and you need to write an orchestral theme. So here we go. Starting with Akel, Uncharted Waters. The 5th Uncharted game. You feel like yours is more score-ish than orchestral. What does that mean? Like it's not orchestral? Like the prompt asked you to do? I feel like I didn't do the challenge. All right, here we go. Uncharted Waters. Let me know if the music volume is okay compared to the voice. Wow, that was awesome. I really love that, Akel. I really, really liked that. Everything about it was great. I just love the way that like the swirling strings would move from these like dissonant stuff that sounds like nothing almost, into suddenly like a chord forms, a perceivable chord forms, and then it just like descends back into it. I really, really dig the whole thing. Sound design was great. Composition was great. I thought it was awesome. Just need some like more reverb or size on some of those percussion elements. They felt a little bit dinky compared to the whole thing. It's like this giant sound and this little like, you know, which maybe in principle sounds like it would work, but every time it would happen, I kept thinking like, I want it to be like fucking monster. That was sick. That was sick. Nice job. The music was quiet, like compared to my voice, you mean? Hey, Fahrenheit. Welcome. If you guys don't know Fahrenheit, check him out. Amazing producer. Good friend. The music is too quiet. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Is the music too quiet compared to my voice? Okay, next up we have DJ Vu with Black Wake Up. That's pretty clever, DJ. I like that. The monster's name is Black Wake for anyone that is just joining, and so Black Wake Up. I like it. Okay. Let's check it out. Wow, nice work, DJ. That was great. Epic. Epic intense. Very nice. I really like some of the piano stuff in there. That was great. And I was clipping a little bit. You got to watch with the orchestral stuff and basically any type of music that is not loud and distorted typically, and doesn't have drums, really doesn't have drums. You can't push it into the limiter very far because on soft sounds like strings and horns and whatever, it just distorts so quickly, even with a good limiter. Whereas if it's the drums with transients that are peaking into the limiter, the distortion's so small that you can't really hear it. But yeah, when there's sustained rounded tones, just even a little bit of like constant limiter motion. Anyway, nice work, TJ. Okay. Next up, Mizar. Mizar, are you here? Okay, so this is Mizar. Demon from the Deep, Black Wake. Black Wake. Black Wake. My voice is still fairly low in the morning, so I can get down there. Black Wake. Black Wake. Black Wake. Black Wake. Black Wake. The inward thing is a nice effect, but I can't get good what's the word? Consonant sounds. Obviously, breathing inwards doesn't lend itself to breathing outwards too well. Black Wake. Black Wake. Black. Black. Anyway, let's check it out. I guess Mizar is not here right now, but hello, future Mizar. Wow, nice work, Muzar. That was great. I really like the sort of counterpoint idea, going between the that was, like bass clarinet and the oboe or something, like kind of moving around. It's really taken me on a journey of emotions. Sometimes I'm feeling like, damn, okay, this is really an intense, sinister situation. And then at some point in particular, there was like this harp chord that came out that was like just a straight up major triad, and I felt like, I guess it's all cool. Maybe the monster's a friend. But then we descended back into madness. So it was great. Nice work, Mizar. Wow. Yeah, the slide. I would have liked some more of that sliding. That would be nice. Okay. My monster turned out to be nicer than he looked. Yeah, exactly. It comes out of the water. And then he's just chill. Just wants like some head scritches or something. Please, sir. And Black Wake. Okay, now we got Sheesh. Oh no, a scary monster. Maybe it's friendly. Speak of the devil. There we go. Yeah, that's exactly Sheesh. That's pretty funny. Okay, so let's see about this MuseScore output situation. Wow, nice work, nice work, chic, nice, nice work, sheesh. That was great. Really like that. And the MuseScore thing really worked out well. Those sounds are nice. Probably a lot of people could just deal with using a MuseScore output over trying to like program it in the DAW, and you'd end up with better results just out of the box. That was great. Nice work. It was thick bass. Whoa. Really like that. Speaking of counterpoint, I mean, there you go. That was great. Nice to hear you work with multiple instruments like that. Typically, of course, if you're just recording yourself, we get a little bit of it, but nice that you can work in MuseScore and do a full arrangement. That's great. Yo-dee-dee. That was great. Okay, now we got Zaibu. Black Wake's Moan. Okay. This is the last submission today. Zaibubu. Let's check it out. Bruh. Damn. That was sick. Nice work. Wow. Some scary stuff. Cool ideas. I like it. Big. Of course. It was sick. Nice work, Saibu. Tom's your uncle. Welcome. Yeah, just a few entries today, only 5. So it will be a short stream. I'll chill with you guys for a little bit now, but yeah, it was great. Nice work, Saibu. That was awesome. As always. I mean, what can I say? What can I say? I don't know if I've ever done something scary orchestral. Unless it was for one of the challenges. This is not something I would ever do naturally. Whenever I do orchestral stuff, it always tends to be just delicate and pretty. But I do love to make metal, so you would think that maybe making some kind of thing like that would be fun. It just seems like, again, like a pain almost to make it with orchestral instruments, even though it sounds awesome. So much work. I may try to have that. Yeah, I don't know. Do I have such a thing? Just seeing if I could enter with a previous challenge submission. We did do like something. Frederick, hey, welcome. Yeah, it was great, Sheesh. Thank you. Does anyone have suggestions for the next challenge? I of course have a whole lot of things written down, and I will just choose one, but I'm also interested in what you think would be fun as I look for something here. You would have loved to do the challenge, just been too busy. Yeah, well, tell me about it. It's all right. Yeah, I did a symphonic metal. Was that a whole challenge that was symphonic metal? That must have been, hey? Your track was in C-sharp Locrian. Yeah, well, that's what you tell me, but do I believe you? No. Adaptive music. What do you mean exactly by that? Adaptive music. You mean like adapting to, like in a game? Or what? Here's a symphonic metal track. At least I can play one thing of my own that is maybe, somewhat in the zone. Let's see. Oh, God. That was challenge 105, which, let's just see. Max Konyi, challenge 105. Yeah, symphonic metal, or at least that's what I did. I think the whole challenge was symphonic metal, though. Maybe. Anyway. Now that I hear it, I don't like the mix on it, but it's pretty epic. Mixing is hard, man. Mixing is hard. I feel like I know what I'm doing, and then I sit down to actually try to mix something that I need to get done, like for work or just personal music or whatever. And I'm just like, gosh, wow. I've been doing this for like 20 years and still I feel like I'm just missing something, key points or something. Even though I don't mind my mixes typically, but then I listen to my mix reference tracks and I think, what on earth are they doing? How did they get it to sound like that? Anyway, wait, your last name is pronounced Konyi. You thought it was Konyi. You feel that way all the time? Yeah, me too. The name is Konyi. Konyi. Had every pronunciation you can imagine from it. But yeah, that's how I would prefer to say it, or how I've always said it, and my family says it. And I'm sure the original Hungarian is not said that way, but that's how we say it. Yeah, I was doing something. Oh yeah, I'm working on like a little track for my next YouTube video, and it's just a tiny little thing of three or four instruments or something like that. And I listen to it and I think, oh yeah, sounds pretty good. Decent stereo width, decent frequency balance. And then I go listen to like one of my reference tracks that's in the same sort of style. I just think, what? How can it sound so much better? It's not like just a little bit better. It's so much better. I get that like these songs are being mixed by people whose life is mixing. That is, they're not primarily producer-composer. They're primarily a mix engineer, and this is what they do. Unless we're talking about producer culture in like the sense of EDM producers who are the producer and the mix engineer, and they kill it at both. But someone who's a mix engineer, of course, that's their whole life, and they do it all day, every day, and they're focused on that. They're not focused on notes and rhythms and whatever arrangements. Focused on mixing what's in front of you and making it sound the best it can be. And for us, typically, that's like a side project. I do this because no one's going to do it for me. Yeah, sure. There's certain parts of mixing that are fun, and those are the artistic, creative parts: reverb, delay, distortion, panning. That's all cool. Like perfect volume balancing, compressing, getting depth through like layering various reverbs and mid-side stuff and side chaining and all of this. Like, yeah, I guess it's cool in principle, or it's interesting anyway, but give me the chance to push a button and it just happens automatically and sounds amazing. Of course, I'm not in it to do those things. I do those things just because I have to. Just need to slap more OTT on it. I mean, I do. I slap OTT on everything. OTT on the mix bus or something similar to it is something that I'm always doing typically. If the genre, okay, maybe not in orchestral music, although actually maybe I do in orchestral music, but just very, very small depth, 2-3%, something like that, 5%. But yeah, the sort of like psychoacoustics and perceptual whatever mechanics of how mixing works and how to get it to sound like that. I mean, sometimes I hear mixes that are just like 3 instruments, whether that's in like an acoustic realm or an electronic realm, and it just sounds huge and so full and so big. And I think, how are you doing that? How are you getting just just these 3, like a guitar, some light drums, and like a vocal or something, or a lead violin or whatever, and it just fills everything. And on paper, it seems like, well, it's obvious, dummy. You put reverb on, you do spatial widening, you do this, you layer. It's like, okay, yeah. And then I try to do it, and I listen to the result, and I think, no, that's not it. Clearly, like I know a little bit about mixing. I mean, I'm kind of obsessed about it for periods of my life, and yet still, there's some kind of secret sauce that certain mix engineers figure out about how to do these things without them coming off sounding artificial, like especially on mixing acoustic albums. They somehow getting this huge refined sound that doesn't sound like fake or overly produced or whatever it is. It sounds like, oh yeah, that just sounds that way. You just play guitars and they just sound like that. And then you go record your guitar and you realize, no, it doesn't sound like that. And you record it even on stereo mics and it doesn't sound like that. Yeah. What's OTT? OTT is like OTT is a multiband compressor, basically. It basically squashes low frequencies, mid frequencies, high frequencies, and then pushes them all up to be even with each other. Let's say, in general, that's what it does. And all of the fine details of the sound come to the front because they were too quiet to be heard, but now that everything is squashed, it's all audible. And it makes the sound more present and intense and like, yeah. It's very, very easy to overdo it with OTT or any similar effects, but at the same time, it's pretty cool. Have you done any mixing courses? Maybe that'll help. I've done some like watching of various master classes and, tutorials and things, but with the way it goes. I need to hear a mix from somebody where I say, wow, and then that person also has a mixing course. If I listen to the person's music and I think, yeah, it's okay, or kind of sounds like my mix, or my mix kind of sounds better, which is typically the case, not that mine sounds better, but that the person who's doing the mixing course isn't that great of a mix engineer, is better than a beginner, but is not that great, then it doesn't really interest me. It's hard to find amazing mixers making whole courses. I think the only place that I've seen it is that Mix with the Masters or whatever it's called. They have this whole business where they have these famous engineers. But then it's paying money and it's spending time and it's whatever. So I kind of feel like, I'll figure it out later. And then I get to my next get to the next song where I have to mix it, and I think, oh yeah, I probably should have studied this a little bit. Cedrus, hey, welcome. Not even done adding things to the song. It's incomplete, but it's listenable. Oh, what, you did one? I assumed everyone had submitted already and I was done listening. Did you upload it? Maybe check out Tape Notes podcast. Is that like a mixing thing? Tape Notes podcast. Surprised I've never heard of this. Almost 200,000 subs. No, 150,000. Excuse me. Still, I think what I need is like what I need to do actually is what I do with instrumentalists and musicians. When I come across a player, keyboard player, bass player, drummer, whoever in some style of music, and the person or the band is not like super famous, I will just basically track down whoever it is, look through, who played keys on this album, blah, 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 eventually find it, message them somehow, try to talk to them. I feel like that's what I need to do with the mixing thing. Is there are mix engineers that I have a list of my favorites, and I should probably just go email them and be like, hey, can we talk? I have a YouTube channel. You want to do an interview? I'll trade you. Or just pay them for a lesson and talk to them. I think that I would get more out of that. Someone who I know I respect their work and I'm kind of impressed and amazed by it, and being able to ask very specific questions to them. That's probably what I should try doing. You exported it. Yeah, you could upload it, Cedrus. That's fine. We'll listen before I go. Just artist interviews. I think that they get into how they make things sound the way they do. Yeah. I kind of feel like it's probably, well, I'm making a big assumption. I'm going to assume it's too general and not enough of like showing literally, here was the sound and here's what we did. And you see the way that it does this, that's the kind of thing I need. Unless someone can just like dish out banger advice without examples. That's pretty tough though. I hope your mix was okay. Well, you don't have any control over your mix other than changing the volume, so it sounded good to me. For an automated output of a scoring program, in which case you're not like using EQs and compressors and reverbs and panning and all that's done for you. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I should contact these mix engineers and then just be like, hey, let's do an interview, a podcast, and I'll ask you all of the really tough questions that no one ever talks about with mixing. And we'll just, problem is then I'll get like people thinking that my channel is about mixing, and it's definitely not about mixing. You can change the reverb though. I think they actually do sometimes go over tracks, how they came up with the ideas of plug and chain. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'll check it out. Let me know when you've uploaded, Cedrus. Yeah, it's interesting in the electronic realm, EDM-ish realm, as opposed to the acoustic, rock, pop, all of that realm. Because the person who writes the track is also who mixes the track, and the genre lends itself to audio perfection, and it's possible to do that because it's all in the box and there's no uncontrolled variables, basically. The level of like granularity and nerdiness, and it's like almost waveform design, at that point. People who are mixing in this way, of which I am also trying to do sometimes. It's like monitoring every little fine aspect of everything, making sure that everything is just nipped and tucked, and you're constantly looking at your waveform output and your spectral response and your this and your that. And, oh yeah, I need to, as opposed to in the analog world or acoustic world, there's so many uncontrollable variables in the sense of performances of people and instruments and the room you recorded and the microphones and the whatever, that it just doesn't make sense to try to be so like this about it. And it would probably end up with a more lifeless result, maybe, as a result of that. Whereas in the electronic realm, it's kind of improved in certain genres. I shouldn't say it's improved to be lifeless, but it's improved to be hyper perfect. That's its own like audio pleasure experience, right? It's like when you have some candy or some food that has, as soon as you put it on your tongue, it's just like, whoa. No, I can't really eat this for a meal, and I can't eat this all the time. But damn, if it isn't an amazing kind of euphoric experience to have it. And I think a lot of EDM has that quality for me too, where it's just like, oh my God, this is like some sort of ear orgasm situation. But at the same time, I can't live off it. Okay. Sabine, hey, welcome. Cedrus, I'm not experienced in making classical formal music, let alone orchestral, so I doubt the genre even is orchestral. When I heard your symphonic metal tracks, I don't mind the mix at all. It's not that the mix on the symphonic metal track is bad, but if I were to play a modern metal track and compare it with mine, you would see in comparison. But keep in mind, of course, I did that track in roughly 2 hours, also mixed it. I'm not claiming that I spent a week on it trying to perfect it. That'd be a different situation. Okay, late uploads. Oh, no, nothing in there yet. Feels like EDM makes the most of the modern listening hardware. Yeah, exactly. And hey, JP, sorry I didn't say hello to you. It makes sense. It's like, why not? You can do it. You can, it's just like producing in the DAW. I kind of feel like I don't have the constraints of this has to be able to be played by someone or anything. So why not just use the medium to the fullest? It would be like you have a guitar and it can do all these different things, but you never do them because, I don't know, you just don't think to or whatever, which is actually the case, but that's typically the case on guitar because of a skill issue, not about I didn't know that you could go tapping and sliding, that's like, I don't not do that because of I just am deciding not to. That's going to be the next few years of my life to figure out how to do that. But in the DAW, yeah, I can have my bass being split into 3 parts, routed to 3 different reverb, 3 different distortions, which are all multi-band and emphasizing different things, and they come back together and put a phaser on them and OTT that and bounce it out to audio and chop it up and reverse it and put, you can do that. And it sounds really cool when you do that, so I kind of might as well do that. What's a good mix track to you? I have a lot of them. I have a big playlist of my favorite mix reference tracks. Maybe I'll play one at the end of the stream here, and hopefully that YouTube doesn't copyright it. And amazingly mixed tracks can be in any genre, right? It's not like it has to be, I'm not saying it has to be this, but when I'm referencing my reference tracks, of course, I'm trying to find stuff that is very, very similar to what I'm working on. So my mix reference playlist, I have a couple of them. One is sort of EDM electronic mix references, and the other is primarily not that. You can make sounds that do not exist in the natural world. Yeah, absolutely. And you can even take sounds that do exist in the natural world and do stuff to them that is so intricate and perfected and, whatever, that you can't do live. You can't do even with pedals or whatever. Like if you're playing a guitar, even an acoustic guitar through a thing into a pedal board, the stuff that you just can't do with it. But in the DAW, there's no limitation. You can do that. So kind of, yeah, that's interesting, of course. That part of the mixing, I don't really call it mixing though, let's say that part of production is pretty awesome. Why is it still 0%? I'll try closing the stream for 5 minutes. Okay. Playing for a while now. Maybe I'll play one of these mix reference songs now. I didn't have time for a full track, but did find some fitting samples. Put in the challenge chat for ears. Oh, okay, cool. Do you want me to play it or not? Can I hear a track that you spend more time on in terms of the mix? Yeah. If I could just mix my tracks like John Hopkins, I would die a happy man. Yeah, well. No need. It's nothing finished. Okay. What is something that I think is a good mix that I've done? Good question. I haven't released anything of my own in a long time that I've done that with. I'm just looking at my own SoundCloud because that's the only place that I would have put stuff, I think, recently that's even finished that I could remember what I've even done. And it's all just challenge tracks. Oh gosh. Well, this year I do plan on actually releasing some music, so we'll see if that comes to pass. I'll just play an older song of mine that I think has a pretty good mix. Navigating files, man. Oops. It's uploaded now. Okay, nice. I'll play that first, and then I'll do mine. Okay, so this is Cedrus's submission to the weekly challenge this week, which was the Sea Monster, Orchestral Sea Monster theme. Let's just say that, in case anyone is just joining now. So this is... Did you do a submission? No, I don't do submissions anymore. I'm above that. No, I just, as I explained last time, I've done enough of them actually. Okay, we'll do Leeway. So this is Cedrus Blackwake's Revelation. Blackwake is the name of the sea monster, by the way. Okay. Nice work, Cedrus. That was great. I really like that, actually. Once the bass came in, and the organ was scary. So you don't like the organ? You added it in like 4 minutes. I don't know about some of the chords it's playing, but the actual timbre, I think, was pretty cool. Yeah, nice work. Really like that. Bond Zimmer. Yeah, that was nice. Very nice. I'll just play Leeways as well here. This is Leeway from the Deep. You could have definitely made it better. Well, I mean, that's how life goes, eh? Here. Well, you had me. I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of it. I mean, I don't know if you're going to do anything else on it, but it was definitely going in a good direction. Very nice. Whoa. Okay, so here's an older track, talking about mixing. This is an older track that I did, like, gosh, I don't even know when. This was like probably more than 10 years ago I did this. So I guess has my mixing improved much in the last 10 years? I don't know. Yeah, so I like that mix still, even all these years later. I think it's well balanced. There's a lot of interesting like stereo stuff. The arrangement in terms of like the sound selection is, I think, decently balanced. The bass sometimes gets a bit lost, but the contrast of sort of the high, sparkly, metallic-y stuff with the, whatever, and the snare and all that feels good. Feels good. Doesn't feel like bloated. Bass feels a bit tight and powerful. Yeah, I think I just kind of stumbled into that actually at the time. I didn't really know too much. It just so happened that the instruments that I had chosen just worked out that way. But yeah, it feels good. Glad you like it. So, I think that a lesson there for me, not that I need to learn this lesson over again, the instrumentation choices are so important. Like trying to mix poorly chosen instruments or just ugly sounds is just hard. And having sounds that complement each other, a good variety of space, so that certain sounds are in a big space and set back. Certain sounds are tight, certain sounds are wide, certain sounds are, of course, obviously contrast is the name of the game. If everything is one thing, everything is sunk back, everything is forward, everything is wide, everything is narrow, it doesn't work. There has to be contrasting elements, and those contrasting elements, actually, this is one of the lessons that I learn. I have to learn still over my whole production career, that I have the insight over and over again. Not everything needs to happen all the time. That is, I'm going to go add a new instrument or a new whatever to a section or a loop, and my instinct, for whatever reason, is to like write a whole part for it that would go along the whole section. So the guitar is strumming the whole time, the piano's playing the whole time, the bells are playing the whole time, the drums, where I realize over and over again, right, it doesn't need to, not everybody has to play at every moment, He can come in and just go pling, and then that's it, right? Of course, I do that all the time in my music, but I do that because I've learned the lesson over and over again. But still, even now, I listen back to songs and I say, yeah, gotta remember that. And not just about the instrument and what they play or not, but also about the mixing decisions, that if every effect or every reverb type or every distortion type or every whatever is present for too long, it loses its meaning. Like, just like in life, everything gains value, gains meaning in its contrast. You're cold and you come in and the fire is warm and it's like, oh my gosh, it's the best. But the fire too long and it starts to feel uncomfortable and eventually you don't want it anymore. And then the cold actually feels a bit better. The contrast, right? It's like, you can't eat just salt, can't eat just sugar, can't eat just whatever, there's something, obviously, it goes without saying. But in music too, it's the same. And every element is an opportunity for contrast. All super extended chords with no simple stuff loses meaning. All root position with no inversions loses meaning. Like I said, all big reverb, all wide, all narrow, all fat bass, all whatever, it has to, everything has to give way to its opposite in order for it to, again, be meaningful when it comes back in and feel like a reward of some kind. I don't know if the reward's the right answer. Noah, hey, good to see you. My favorite submission you've made is the Bossa Nova. What, my Bossa Nova track? Yin and Yang. David Russell, hey, welcome. Did I do a Bossa Nova track? I remember the challenge. Did I actually ever export that? I don't know that I did. City pop, nostalgia, teen. Yeah, no, I don't know that I have it even available for easy listening. Max Konyi Challenge, Bossa Nova. Which one was that? 141. 141. No, I don't have that exported. Interesting. Ba-do. Shared it in the challenge chat. Oh, so I can download it there somewhere? It's your favorite tracks to Max. It was just a Sunday. David Russell says, hey Max, been getting into playing guitar recently. I like to sing as well, but I admit I am self-conscious about sharing. Any thoughts on being nervous releasing something? There's clearly only one answer, right? You just do it and people are going to think what they think. There's no way around it. Not releasing stuff out of sake of fear obviously doesn't make any sense. When you release something, people are going to think all sorts of things about it. There's no way around it. Even if 90% of the people, 99% of the people think it's amazing, there are going to be people that don't, and they might be very vocal, as I find out with YouTube videos and with my app. You know, like with Sonofield, if for anyone who's new to that, that's my ear training app. With Sonofield, there's like two types of reviews. There's 5 stars, there's sliced bread, and there's this. This is God-given, S tier, the best thing of all time. Oh my God, my life has changed. That's one type of review. And the other review is 1 star. And it's like literal trash. How could you ever think this would be a good idea? I can't believe a person would be so dumb to make an interface that is this ugly and this clunky and so obtuse and cryptic. I tried it once, blah, blah, blah. You know, I get a lot of these reviews too. Put out a video with my views on ear training and feeling states and on all that. And many people will comment saying, oh my God, praise the Lord. This is someone who is speaking my language for the first time in my life. And other people being like, this guy is an absolute idiot and he's leading you completely astray. There is nothing to do with this in music at all. There are no feelings like this. He's just completely making it up. He's like a rich yuppie kid who is just out here trying to show off his music degree to all of you and, you know, whatever. I get a lot of that too. So all I'm saying is, it doesn't matter how good your thing is or not. You're going to put it out and people are going to think stuff. So you just do it. You just do it. If you like it and you genuinely believe in it, then just do it. You know. And if you just want to put it out, then just put it out. You only read 2 to 4 star reviews. I don't have 2 to 4 star reviews. Actually, I do. I have 4-star reviews. The 4-star reviews say, absolutely love Sonofield. It's my favorite, this and that and the other thing. But when you put chords in it, it'll be 5 stars. And it's not going to have chords in it. It's going to be a separate app, of course. So it's not going to be 5 stars in that person's eyes. But that happens too. Ants Like Walk. Welcome. You don't even have a music degree? No, I don't. Next challenge, Yuppie Kid music. Yeah, right. Yeah, just go for it, David. I mean, it's fine. Yeah, I was just seeing if I could easily get this Bossa Nova track. Now, I haven't heard it in, I don't know, a good while now. Oh yeah, someone's asking, where can we listen to them? And I probably am like, oh, sorry. I don't upload anything anymore because I'm lazy. Oh, there it is. So this is, oh, right, Bossa Nova in 9/8, no, 9/4. That's what it was. Here's the track. It was good. I like that. I genuinely like that composition. I like the harmony. I like the rhythm things. I like the melody. That one really came out well. So thanks for the reminder, Sheesh. I gotta export that and put it up on the SoundCloud. Hey, Zabu, yeah, you missed it all. You absolutely did. We were just dunking on you for like hours. Do you have a favorite band recently? Do I have a favorite band recently? No. I haven't been listening to a ton of music recently. Just been too busy with other things. And the music that we have on in the house is the guy named, guy that goes by Arcologies. That's just, Megan had it already. Yeah, Arcologies does sort of like atmospheric drum and bass stuff. And it's really nice. It's a lot of great stuff. If music degree is not needed, can we like learn this advanced methods? This chat thing, come on. To compose music. Let me get his YouTube or you link it. Yeah, I'll get it. I don't know about if you can post links. Oh, you can. Nice. Yeah, oh yeah, you definitely don't need to go to music school to be able to do so-called advanced music. Going to music school, speaking as someone who never went, yet tried to, is more about being in a pressure chamber for music. It's about having a reason to push aside all else in life and be able to focus on that and be surrounded by people who are also doing that and have all sorts of projects and things to do. And, it's like a, what's the name of that thing from Dragon Ball Z? The like hyperbaric time chamber or something. What do they say? Where they do like push-ups and like 1,000,000 times the Earth's gravity and all that. It's kind of like that. It's like a, pressure cooker for the thing, but also it really burns people out. I know a number of people personally who came out of music school and actually stopped doing music because of the experience. So yeah, I'm actually quite glad I didn't go to music school, but I also have been pretty obsessed with composition and stuff since I was, 13 or before. So the thing is, if you are obsessed with something and you really love it and you really want to do it, you will just become good at it. You're just going to figure it out, right? You don't even really need a general course or teacher or anything. You might find a teacher when that's clear that you need it, but there are so many resources. If you really want to know and you have strong artistic vision and you want to realize it, you'll just do it. You'll just look through everything you need to, read books, try stuff, YouTube videos, talk to friends, enter contests, take a few lessons, have a course. The main thing is make as much music as you possibly can, and what you need to work on will become obvious in the pain of not being able to do it. You try to make the music sound the way that you want it to. It does in certain ways, and in other ways it doesn't. And in the ways that it doesn't, you feel ouch. And the ouch tells you, I guess I should probably figure out how to do that. And then you begin just trying to navigate the universe to solve that problem, talking to people about it and searching it and whatever, and you will eventually. That's what I found out the whole time. Yeah. Like gardening. Sorry, I missed a bunch of... this fucking chat is just not happening right here. Guess music school helps with the mindset and the connections. Yeah, of course, that's also true. Hyperbolic, sorry. Hey, Yash. Yeah, it's a great place to meet like-minded people and play music with other people. Yeah, no doubt. It's like learning a new language. No need of a teacher, just try to speak. Yeah, with learning the new language when you are a child, at least you have trusted people who make positive noises when you are on the right track, right? You say goo goo gaga, and they keep looking at you, and then you say goo goo dada, and they say, oh my God, my baby, he's a genius. Goo goo dada, oh my God, he's so amazing. And so then, eventually they try to separate the goo goo from the dada part. And, so even though you're not getting any like strict lessons conceptually, there's this reinforcement feedback loop that makes it possible, of course. And wouldn't it be nice if it could work that way with playing music? Even if you're just, improvising melodies, like learning to improvise or solo or whatever, you just have a little robot or like hopefully a friend, let's say it's a robot friend who's listening to you. And every time it starts to like make sense and feel right, he goes, oh my God, he's a genius. You're a genius. Maybe not so intense, but some kind of like green light turns on and you feel like, oh, this is kind of working. Hopefully by the time you're an adult and you've listened to a lot of music, I guess you might have a green light already in your own mind about whether it's working or not. However, trying to be in a certain sense objective about your own playing and your own decisions while you're doing it is actually not easy, because your mind is often consumed with the doing of it because it's not yet fluent. And so there's thinking. There's thinking and imagining, and mistakes get made, and then recalibrating and having to figure it out and say, oh, right, oh, yeah, oh, here comes the E minor, oh, I missed that, oh, I need this, right, A7, oh, it's altered, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to D minor, oh, like this. And so it's sometimes hard to have objectivity about my own playing, and likewise in production. However, at least in production, you can, it's kind of like a sculpture. I always feel like music production is a bit like sculpting. It's like sculpting some time sculpture or something, emotional time sculpture, and you can work on it, and then you can stand back and listen to it. You can even go for lunch and you come back and you listen to it. You sleep and you come back and you listen to it. And so you can then be maybe a little bit more objective about it. However, the ability to be objective about it, at least in my case, is something that grew and grows over time. I remember early on with music production, just to do anything this is the holy grail, and it didn't matter how many times I would step away and come back to it, I'd listen to it again and think, oh my God, it's amazing, and it's literally like a rock beat with like a major chord or something. But the fact was, I did it, and it's playing out of my speakers. Isn't it amazing? And then over time, the ability to become more and more critical, more and more able to, in a way, separate myself temporarily and listen objectively and say, right, that's like 0.3 of a dB too loud, and this is this, somehow I become more able to do that. Reverse reverb, yeah, exactly, man. Reverb, oh, you appreciate your positive noise when I do something good. Likewise, sweetie. I see music production like cooking, actually. Yeah, right. Cooking, yeah. I was going to say, the result of cooking is not a temporal experience. It is, though, of course. It's like you eat this, and then you eat that, and then you eat this. Music has that. It stretches. You can't take a bite of the end until you've eaten the whole way through, if you know what I mean. But yeah, anyway, back to the reverse reverb thing. reverb in general, is one of those things that I think as a non-producer, even as I was a guitar player and a piano player, I still had never really thought about reverb as an independent thing. I never really thought about reverb at all. I would just sometimes be in a big place and I would clap and it goes, and I'd say, oh, that's a nice echo or something. I didn't know what the proper term was. But then finding out there was a plugin that you turn it up and it makes the space, and suddenly the sound gets all like washy and cool. I was like, oh my God, everything needs to be drowned in this, a la the 80s. And then, experiencing reverse reverbs and reverse decays and reverse everything for the first time. It's like, oh, this is it. This is the song. This is all that it is. It just needs to be that. I've had some heavy conditioning about perfectionism in the sense, why would I release something I know is not perfect but could be better? But that is a trap. It's a balance I'm out of. Yeah, well, I mean, you're talking to someone very much like yourself, so yeah, over the years I've just had to accept the fact that I am where I am, and this is what I can do right now. And something, in a certain sense, for the listener anyway, is better than nothing. Even if I don't think it's the best thing in the world, sometimes I'm very surprised at what other people think about it, and they like it. And I realize, all right, there's so much music that I love that I'm so glad that person X made, even though person X probably, well, I don't know, but let's say person X could think all sorts of things about it because of the person that created it. Perhaps they also love it too. That also happens, of course. But let's say they didn't, or they're indifferent to it, or it's so-so. But for me, the feeling is like, well, I'm one of the people for whom this is a thing, and I'm so glad that you made it, because having these things in my life actually changes me as a person and helps me through life and, whatever. So, I mean, I should really be taking my own advice and releasing more of my music before it's fully perfected. But at least you can take my advice and I can say it. Music school is something every musician needs. I can't agree with that. There are so many musicians that don't need anyone's teaching, that don't need anyone's external influence, because they have, through whatever means, the combination of their physiology, biology, neurology, plus their upbringing, plus their whatever, past lives, they have musical vision that is actually, in a way, ruined by more influence and study. That's not everybody. Some people really do thrive through that, and some people in the middle, perhaps like myself. But there's other people that they have the ability to discern through their listening experience both what they love in music and what makes that what that is, without even formally conceiving of it. And they can just, through the experience of trying to make it and getting the feedback of what they're making back and forth, no, it needs to be here, like this, put this here, and out comes this beautiful thing. And it's very unique, and it's their own expression in a way that is less influenced by the traditional ways of learning. So I really do think that the world needs those people too, obviously. I wish I was that way too, that I was able to make the stuff that I wanted. I can't say I wish I was. I'm fine with the way that I am. But I do know that there are people further along the spectrum than I am, and there are people further along the other way that I am that have a very hard time actually creating something that sounds good to them or even to other people without a lot of structured learning at first in like a sort of focused period of time. Perfect feels like dangling a carrot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And production has so many shiny little objects to put your focus on that are not the music, and that's a problem. It's like the music itself, actually, that is the notes, the rhythms, the timbres, the arrangement, the whatever. That's what primarily matters. All the other stuff in terms of the mixing and the mastering and the production techniques and whatever is like, yeah, it's cool if you can do both and it's better. Let's say it's a better sound experience. But in the end of the day, I will gladly listen to some really poorly produced music that is really awesome, written well and feels good, but not the opposite. I'm not interested in music that sucks, but sounds really good. Other than I'll put it on my mix reference list, and that might help me out there. I appreciate all the thoughts and everyone here. I stumbled upon your tour of musical feeling, and it was the first time I understood how each note could actually evoke a feeling. It was inspiring. Oh, that's great to hear. Pillars, hey, welcome. I'll play a couple of these tracks from my reference mix playlist. You guys can see what you think. Hopefully, I'll try to monitor my YouTube thing and see if it's telling me that like this is going to cause the stream to shut down or whatever because, bullshit. I'll play like a small variety of things. With very different mix styles, how about? So here is a sort of electronic EDM type of track that I think just is in this zone of like ear orgasm, wow, headphones, it just sounds amazing kind of thing. This is by a producer named Ellis. Oh yeah, thanks. I'll take that off. This is by a producer named Ellis and with a singer, I guess, named Grant. Ellis and Grant made this track. I kind of like that. Just a couple of dudes. Maybe that should be my artist name, just Max. Although I'm sure there's 10,000 of them already. Yeah, so this track's called Dead Man Walking. I won't play the whole track. I'll just play the intro into the drop and just maybe focus on whatever you want.
Do you believe me when I say I'm never like this? Do you need me the way you say you do?
So for instance, even that vocal, if you're just not paying attention too much, it just sounds like, oh, that's probably just his recorded vocal and it's EQ'd a bit and it's got some little bit of reverb. No, there's versions of it on either side that are like have high frequencies boosted and they're somehow slightly time shifted and there's like a very subtle chorusing effect that's like stereo positioning it around with this reverb that breathes in between every space. It's not simple. It's not just,
Treading lightly through the water, through the light and darkness. If I'm not careful, my love might consume you. Pulling me back into my body. I wanna take my time with you. Your lips are gonna haunt me. If what you say is true, pulling me back into my body. I'm just a dead man walking. I'm just a pawn, but nothing hurts better than you. My body, I'm just a dead man walking. I'm just a pawn, but nothing hurts better than you. Follow me. I'm just follow me. Are we doomed?
Yeah, exactly. There's just so much. And the stuff is cool. Like the actual composition is cool. Cool riff and ideas. It's not like it's just polishing a turd. Like I think it feels good. Like the actual composition is cool. Ellis really has a good sense of all this stuff, of all the mix and ear candy, and it's just the drums are like super present and beefy, but the mix doesn't feel bloated. It's nice. Me. What's the genre name? I don't know. What would you call that? I actually don't know. I'm not sure. Here's a different track. This is, let me make sure that YouTube is not like, screwing me over here. This is Club Bro Bop. I like that. Bro Bop. Bro Bop. I need to write that down somewhere. Bro Bop. I need a song called that. K-pop Demon Hunter. Bro Bop. Though, let's not forget about this, okay? Bro Bop. Okay, then this is a track from Maggie Rogers. It's called Alaska, and this is much, much more subtle. This is like sort of pop something, yeah. And it's mixed by a guy whose name I can't remember right now, but one of my favorite mix engineers, and much more subtle, much more sort of low key, but I really like it.
Icy streams that took my breath away, moving slowly through westward water, over glacial plains, and I walked off you, and I walked off an old me. Oh me, oh my, I thought it was a dream, so it seemed. And now breathe deep, I'm inhaling. You and others there in between. Leave me bleed, I'm exhaling. You and others there in between.
Yeah, very nice. Obviously, this, like I was saying earlier, the arrangement is already really well balanced with really nice sounds and distinction between high and low with those inner like organy chords in the middle and the piano plinks on top, harmonies wide, vocal centered, but the main vocal also has width. Like there's a whole bunch of awesome mix stuff going in there. Yeah, I don't know if this is the one that she did all those years ago with that sort of viral video presenting to Pharrell where he had no comments. I can't even remember. But anyway, I really love this tune. Here's another one that is by a band called Electro Deluxe. It's sort of like funk soul stuff. And the mix on this, for this style of music, is probably the best I've heard. It's like so wide and so powerful, but everything is so clear. I don't really know how how they did it.
Yeah. Well, listen. Don't wanna keep talking with you. Yeah. Don't wanna let you tell me lies. Listen, babe, 'cause I am not that into you. Listen, babe, and you still look at other guys, babe. Yeah. Love always seems so hard to find. Yeah. Girl, you seem so far from that kind. Where are the butterflies that every song's about? Yeah, yeah. Where is the love I'd like to live? Where is the love? Tell me love is truly real. that's the way.
There's so many mid-range instruments in there, and yet the bass is still so clear, and the bass doesn't have some like crazy tone. It's like pretty subby, but there's like an electric piano, there's an organ, there's the horns, maybe there's even a guitar, and the drums and the vocal, and yet the bass is still like so clear, and everything is just so wide. My current feeling about how that's done is that the entire mix is actually run through a really tiny reverb. That's like a ambient style reverb that's like, 0.1 of a second. And it's probably has a lot of high frequencies rolled out, so you don't get like drums and stuff kind of through it. But it makes it feel like the whole mix is like so wide. Like even the bass is centered but also wide, and the vocals centered and wide, and the kick and the snare are centered but wide. I don't really hear that effect on a ton of tracks, and I really think it sounds great here. Was this same key as the waiting line? The waiting line. What's that? Do 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 do. Here's like a jazz, sort of modern jazz. I don't know if we call it modern jazz tune that has just a wonderful mix on it called "Running" by Jørgen Emborg. We'll just hear dude's solo here. Wow, love that. It's called Running. Running. It's Jørgen Emborg. Running. Yeah, it's a melodica. Yeah, really nice. Really nice. All right. Maybe one last track and then I'm going to go for the day. There's so many mixing courses and tutorials, but the frustrating part is that they only deal with guitar, bass, drums, and vocals, nothing else. Yeah. Like, that's a mix that I love because it sounds so natural, but so pro, so polished, so clean. But it doesn't feel like it's overproduced. There's no like crazy big reverbs or strange effects, or it's just really present, really well defined. Again, like obviously the instrumentation is great, but it's not easy. It's not easy to make a mix sound like that. I mean, maybe if you've got a great studio engineer, of course, it's going to help. Who knows what they're doing with microphones and everything. But still, if you're presented with that group of tracks and say, make it sound really good, it's not easy to do, actually. Any jungle mix riffs? I don't know if I have jungle in particular. I'll look on my EDM reference mix thing. Like I have a lot of DMB mix references, but I don't know if I have particularly jungle stuff. Like, I don't know, this is, we need jungle, I'm afraid. No, Cedrus, we had listened to all the submissions before you arrived. This is a DMB track. This is Noisia and Mephius. For a completely different vibe. The drums, damn, just pop. The stereo width, like that first drop is this such main element wise. There's just like the drums, sub, and that's it. But it just like huge. But of course, Noisia, of course, Mephius. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. You guys ever heard of Rohan? It's a cool track. That's just a really good balance of sounds, you know, like stereo position, high, low, mids, the reverb's going off to the sides. The whole thing is just like mega textural, and yeah, it's very cool. She's saying easy for them. Well, she's not actually, but that's what Rohan is trying to call the track. It sounds like she's saying easy for them, easy for them, easy for them, easy for them, like mega lisp. Rohan. Isn't that like a Lord of the Rings thing? Yeah, it's sick. Okay, that's going to be it for today, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. It was a blast. I'll have a new challenge tomorrow. What it will be, we'll have to see. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you all. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks so much for being here. I'll be back soon. The next challenge, actually, might be complicated by moving plans. We'll have to see. And I will leave it as 2 weeks from now for now, but yeah, it might be longer. We'll see. Okay, bye everybody.